Hi there guys, welcome to Freehand Architecture. Let's talk about the chair designs, okay? Because these are very important. These are product design mixed with interior design, because obviously we need to use these eventually as entourage for all our interior design perspectives. So these are drawings some of my students sent over for review. And we are going to go through them and basically have a look at what's good, what's really not there yet, and what you can do to get the similar results. Really quick, if you want to learn architectural drawing, I recommend you start with the 5-day intensive. You've got the 5-day intensive training right in the description below. You can go get it for free, and I'll teach you all the basics of basically architectural drawing. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got this chair from Le Corbusier, right, and this famous one from Mies van der Rohe. These other two are kind of they're basically default. Okay, they're not associated with a famous designer or architect. So Corbusier, Mies. This is Corbusier again, which is very good. Corbusier, Mies van der Rohe, again, standard types of designs, of chair designs. Corbusier, Mies. So you can see that everybody used their own drawing style, even with drawing size. These are quite large. They're 50 by 70 centimeter sheets. Okay, these are kind of B2, I think it's the format. Okay, so that's actually larger than A2. It's a pretty consistent drawing, okay, which is very good. Again, Corbusier, Mies van der Rohe here. Corbusier, Mies from the Barcelona pavilion. Corbusier, right? This is actually a really good one. Corbusier, Mies, and all the other ones. Okay, you probably got the idea. Corbusier, Mies, Corbusier, and so on. Right, so what's the first thing that you need to know about chairs? Well, first things first, I recommend you start with a simple sketch, okay? For all these chairs, you want to basically be starting off with a small 4x4 thumbnail, okay? You don't want to just basically focus on just starting the large drawing, because it's not going to really work. Okay, I'm sorry, that's how it works. I figured out that's the only way you can adapt to new assignments. You sketch them 4x4 centimeters and you can draw all these weird things, okay? All these things that you couldn't possibly have imagined that you can get there, right? You can draw them if you study them first in a couple of thumbnails. Okay, next, right, next principle would be understanding that these are chairs, so they're made to kind of look comfy, right? You need to make them look like they are basically furniture. They're not, if you have experience with sketching buildings, they're not buildings. They need to be rounded at the edges, right? This is made out of several pillows, funny enough, right? It's got this metal structure, okay? And then this metal structure holds in two side pillows, one back pillow, and a couple, actually two pillows here, right? Which act as the base of the chair, right? That's number 2. And number 3 would be understanding the logic of the chair, right? In this case, the Corbusier one, you need to understand that there's this metal structure that's basically holding the pillows of our chair, right? And it's on a base, a metal base, which is lifted off from the ground, okay? Mr. Corbusier, when he designed this, he obviously took reference from obviously the new type of architecture he was trying to make, right? And succeeded in making. He basically wanted to make this as kind of like reinforced concrete. So for reinforced concrete, you've got concrete and steel working together. In this case, you've got pillows and steel working together, right? Okay, next up, Again, don't go for too large. You need to have large drawings, that's good, but not as large as this. They overlap too much, okay? It's trying too hard, okay? These are too large. I think something like this is good enough, okay? Because every time you draw a large drawing, that helps with basically you creating a drawing which, like I just enjoyed joking, right? You've got plenty of opportunities to make mistakes. What does that mean? You'll draw a large drawing and you learn more from it than you would learn from a simple sketch, okay? Right? You can see the final point I want to make is I really hammered this idea of drawing them in colored crayons, okay? You don't want to go for black and white all the time. I don't recommend you go for markers yet. You still want to have a really good line drawing. You can see that the back piece here is messed up. Unfortunately, yeah, here it's messed up as well, but we got a good example here, right? Something like this, right? This has got a good line drawing, and obviously you can connect everything up with more of the stitching thing, right? Just go in like so. See, there's a bit of a perspective mistake here as well. Right, so obviously it's made out of different parts of leather and they are stitched together. And yeah, obviously this is lacking a bit of construction. You could, in this case, my student could have shown this construction a bit better, right? It could look a bit more rounded and fluffy, right? This looks good here, but for this one particular, right, or for the Barcelona chair, where in fairness, you know, my student kind of nailed it. Although I think it's got 5 small pillows on the side, right, and 4 on the height. Okay. Regardless, this is kind of good graphics, and again we are going to go for line drawing first. Once that is finished, we are going to go for basically coloring everything. Which reminds me, let's go for a quick sketch on chairs, right? This is part of my video on drawing chairs, my video lesson on drawing chairs. It features several videos which take you from basically beginner to advanced. So let's get started now with me sketching and you hopefully following along some of these famous chairs. Let's go. Okay, let's start looking at sketching these 6 chairs. So we are doing some A4 sketches because, to be honest, thumbnail sketches aren't going to show too much information, and as I've told you in the text, understanding these chairs is a bit more complex than just getting 2 or 3 things right. So first off, we got the Corbusier chair, which more or less fits into a cube. And by using diagonals, we can easily sculpt the part where you sit, okay, and then add the other elements, the structural elements as well as the side and back rests. Okay, don't forget the curved soft nature of the backrest and the other pillows. And let's start drawing parallel the metal elements. Okay, so some of these elements are curvy, some of them are very clear cut, let's say. Okay, more or less everything fits inside a cube, and this is kind of how it's going to look like. Yeah. And now we need to thicken the contour. Okay, I moved in the back pillar, so to preserve kind of the cube proportion for our little volume. Okay, good. Pillows looking like this. It's going to have a cast shadow on one side, and that's kind of it. Okay, the thing you need to understand is the proportion and how to make each of the 2 materials look just right. Right, okay, good. Shadow 60 degrees on the horizontal on the left hand side, and that's it. We are kind of done here. It's going to be another shadow for the part where you sit, and obviously thickening the edges for the structural elements. Because there's two different thicknesses for the metal part. Okay, next up, let's draw. We will go for 3 more casual chairs. An office chair, which obviously spins around. A vanilla designer chair, and a classical chair. So one with kind of weird details. Let's go for the office chair first. We are drawing the armrests right now, and our whole chair is very curved. Okay, we need to get that effect of the back of the chair being inclined a bit, so you can rest on it. The armrests are curvy as well. It's made out of It's made out of one piece, but obviously the back is kind of put together by these small patches that go all the way, right? They go all the way to the sides. Okay, interesting. Okay, you can see this is very interesting. Like these patches are very nice to draw, and they give good geometry for the final image. Okay, buttons in the middle. Right. Okay, so on the sides again, more the pillows, armrests as well. They have these weird shapes that are kind of inclined as well, and we need to look at the legs. Okay, so this is an office chair that's got a it's rotating, so you draw the diagonals, and then you draw 5 legs, you'd say. Okay, these 5 legs. I have sorry, this rotating chair's got 5 extremities, right? It's got wheels on all 5. Okay, they're 5, they're not 6, they're not 4, so you need to kind of guesstimate them, and you also need to guesstimate the length of each of these segments, because they kind of need to give the impression of balance. So if they're too small, the whole chair looks like it's going to tilt over. If they're too large, then again something's off. I'd actually, if I would do this again for the final sketch, the final drawing, sorry, I would make the base just a bit larger, so it doesn't look like it's doesn't look like the whole chair could tip over. Okay, so on the right hand side we're going to have cast shadows, and this is all good. Slowly building up towards a final image. Okay, yeah, you know, a bit longer, just a bit longer, so they create that sense of balance. Okay, good. Okay, good. And there's a 5th one then, the back side. Okay, you need to be very careful when you're drawing this, because it's split in 5. Splitting in 4 is simple diagonals, and 6 is simple hexagonal shape. But in 5, pentagonal shape, you need to kind of guesstimate that. Okay, next, let's look at the vanilla designer chair. So it's going to be made right out of a simple part. So the back and the horizontal part are just one element, and that sits on top of 4 legs. Okay, these are going to be made out of wood, so they will need to have reinforcements, like some diagonal cables that would keep everything together. So this is the back part, the horizontal one. Again, as I said, it's just one element that free flows, and it's made out of segments. Okay, because you can't have just one single piece like that. If it's made out of fabric, that can't be efficient. You need different patches. If it had been made out of plastic, that could have worked, but in this case it's made out of fabric. Okay, and these are the legs, and they are held together by diagonals, right? These steel diagonals.
cables. I go for saying that they're cables, and they're tensed, so everything is nice and structurally sound. Okay. Again, this is a vanilla chair. There's nothing too special about it, but it looks good. It's good enough to draw. Cast shadow again, 60 degrees and horizontal, and etc. etc. Right. Yeah, don't forget to slip in all those curves. Okay, these are sketches. These are just for the sole purpose of you understanding what you're dealing with. After this is all done, we will go for drawing the large image, let's say. So if you think this is detailed, wait until you get to the large image. Okay, this is all good. Okay, different segments. Yeah, going all the way through. Yeah, you need to get that curvature just right. Don't forget, the chair should fit into a 45 by 45 by 45 square or cube, sorry, in the plan, and the backrest should be 45 or whatever, right? It could be as large as you want it to be, but it could be modulated in that 45 by 45 by 45 centimeter cube, just as a starting point. And the last chair is going to be the classical chair. So it starts off basic, right, with the cube, and then we are adding all the detailing, the armrests, everything. Okay, good. Right, the base, the middle, right there. We need to add those specific type of legs that you get for classical furniture. They look like literal legs, but they're not. Okay, they're made out of wood, of course. And let's add all the other detailing as well, all those crazy details. Right. So you get the backrest that's got like a wooden frame, and then you've got a kind of like a pillar on the inside. Okay, with this specific type of architectural language. Okay, the sitting part needs to have a decent pillar. Okay, stuff like that. Okay, good. Throwing all these decorative elements, and it's all going to have a cast shadow on the right hand side. Actually, you could work on the left hand side, to be honest, because you get an extra cast shadow on the inside. Whatever. Let's just get there first. So these pillows could have like a weird texture, like I'm adding now. Like a contemporary texture. Although this is classical furniture. Okay. Again, you see that there's a lot of subtleties. This isn't copying an image. This isn't sketching simple objects. You need to understand more or less of these subtleties for each of the elements. Okay, for each of the chairs. So this is the classical chair. I've got the cast shadow there. Good. This is all sketched, ready to go. And next up, after this, we will be starting the large drawings, which are going to be very interesting. And yeah, talk to you there, then and there. Okay, hatching a bit on the pillows, an extra shadow there, and we are done.
Okay, so hopefully you've seen how it works, and you obviously now have a kind of decent idea that this is an assignment which is really worth paying attention to, because it's obviously you start off with those sketches. Ideally you start off with the thumbnail sketches, then you go for those intermediary sketches, and then you go for the final ones, okay? Because that's going to get you a clear understanding of these types of designs, right? And obviously again we are going to use them for entourage and interior perspective. So let's say you've got a little obviously pavilion or room. Obviously you slap on a Barcelona chair with a table, or a couple of Barcelona chairs with a table, smack in the foreground, okay, so people really see this, okay, You can, you know, basically get them to the sides or push them back, but ideally you obviously feature this type of furniture. Obviously there's many more things to discuss. If I, you know, it's going to take me probably 5 hours to digest everything here, right? There's a couple of, you know, mistakes. For instance, for the Barcelona chair, you need to have thicker metal pieces here, right? Something like that, right? Because this is obviously a steel structure. Again, going back to Mies van der Rohe's approach on chairs, right? Very good. There's a couple of perspective mistakes. This is it's got a faulty perspective point on the right hand side. Okay, something like that. Okay, right. And obviously the cast shadow here is a bit off. It needs to project, right, just like that. The color composition is very important. I stressed out basically complementaries. Complementaries are very good, but you know, as for all color compositions, you don't want to go 50-50. So it's not 50-50, it's 80-20. So for all these chairs, for instance here, this is very good. Orange, 80% orange, 20% blue. Again, blue and orange are complementaries. If you mix them and overlap them, you get this effect of basically colored grays, right? You get this kind of gray color which looks very delicate, and people might think you're using graphite, but they don't know the secret that you're using complementaries which overlap. In fairness, if they are 50-50 in proportion, then you get the colored gray, but you don't want that to have it all over the drawing, because it's going to look, you know, like, again, going back to boring, you're overdoing the effect. You want that to happen in particular areas, especially with the cast shadows, right? Okay, so quick recap. Number 1, let's go for thumbnails every time, okay? So you can understand these weird volumes. Number 2, just go for understanding again the line drawing and understanding the materials, right? These are very they're basically very simple, straightforward objects, but they do have that specific material logic to them, right? Because if it's a chair, you sit on the chair, etc., right? It's not a building, right? Number 3, go for complementaries, complementary color composition and so on. Number 4, try not to draw sketches or drawings which are huge, right? You need to have a large drawing, but you don't need to have an immense drawing like this, where they overlap. Okay, and number 5, again, let's stick to the complementaries, but let's go for 80-20, so you get that really nice hierarchy. This one has more blue, this has more orange, this has more orange again, this has more blue, right? And you get like a unique feel to your work. Okay, if you like this video, don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. Also, if you want to join the free 5-day course, there's still spots available. You've got a link in the description below, and I'll see you on the other side. Any questions, hit me up. Take care, draw nicely.